CWSA is the Coventry and Warwickshire Society of Artists, and over the years it's had a lot of very distinguished members, for example William Russell Flint, Dame Laura Knight and Frank Brangwyn, and it's now been going for 100 years and still going strong.
It's the oldest established art society in this area, and in its early days had some of the most prestigious Royal Academicians and other people. It reads like a sort of Debrett's of artists, you know. Very interesting.
It's an art society that encourages people to work, to paint, to exhibit, to take part in demonstrations, workshops, to have some sort of friendship between artists, I think, a support group.
They tell you when things are happening, and they have quite a coverage of various activities that go on through the year, which, again, it's not just coming along and seeing an exhibition. You can go out to various art groups that are meeting and so on, and it's quite an interesting year's activities.
The society was formed in 1912. I think it was about June 1912, to be honest, because I think at the beginning of the year, Colonel William Wiley, who was mayor at the time, was very concerned because of the lack of interest and so on in art in Coventry itself. And so I think he wrote to various people, and obviously they held a meeting, and by June, a number of people then were interested in thinking, okay, yes, let's form a society. And that's how it started.
It was quite a difficult thing. There were two groups of people. One wanted it to be of artists and people interested in the arts in general. The other wanted it to be entirely for practicing artists. And there was quite a division of opinion between this, which got quite heated at times. And eventually they came to a kind of compromise. And so in general it became for practicing artists, most of whom at the time were professional. Gradually, as times changed, particularly after the Second World War, I think, it became more general.
Sir Alfred Herbert put forward the money for the Herbert Art Gallery, and he wanted the people of Coventry to have their own art society.
And the society were very big movers and shakers in establishing the need for the gallery. And it took a long, long time, and it wasn't until just before the last World War that anything was started, the foundations of which are still underneath the bar on the other side of the road.
Where Brown's is, there was this, the beginning of the new art gallery, then the war intervened, and they had these exhibitions there. And afterwards, I think it became a public toilet, or I don't know whether it was a public toilet then, but I remember going into it, and the person who was looking after it shone all the brass piping. So when you went in, there was this lovely glittering brass piping, which I thought was fantastic, actually. A sort of work of art almost on its own, actually.
Before the new gallery opened, it was in a sort of underground gallery, and we used to have to go down steps into it. I think it was a bit like being in an air raid shelter. And then for many years the new gallery was being built, and it was finally opened in 1960. I think work had to be submitted to be accepted into the opening exhibition, and it was mainly work of people who had connections with the City of Coventry over the years, which my father had because he went to the art school. He had a Spencer Scholarship in 1920.
Well, if it wasn't really for the Herbert Art Gallery, I mean, I don't think really would have existed, and vice versa. I mean, I think we worked together in tandem and obviously exhibited over the years as a team until we found ourselves in, well, once or twice, I think, in the 70s and also in the 90s, whereby I think they felt they were not prepared here to have us because of the fact we were a group and a lot of amateur artists, which I think was rather sad. But obviously it's been lovely now to have this opportunity to, you know, have the gallery for our centenary exhibition.
So I think the organisers, I think, had hoped there would be images that would reflect the fact it's a centenary exhibition, but there were no strict parameters other than size that were laid down. So I have actually just submitted a couple of standard landscapes that I've done when I was temporarily in the south of France. I think other people have probably been more sympathetic, shall we say, to the fact it's a centenary year.
Well, everybody, of course, has different ideas on their artwork and different mediums they paint in. So, of course, it's entirely up to the individual artist to put in what he thinks would be suitable for this exhibition. But of course we still had to go before a selection committee to get our work in.
On my work, it is recycled work. It's got impact. I love people to come along and say to me, it's unusual. I love the unusual things. And that would be that would be the elevator pitch for mine. It's unusual.
The society, we opened it up. We got the society going again because it was running down, and I think we opened it up to more members, and we got things like the Christmas dinner working again, and social events going again, and demonstrations.
I think some very, very, very good three-dimensional pieces, very original pieces, some also very good two-dimensional items as well. A variation in media. There's some really nice archive material as well to look at, right up to one of our older artists, in fact, who's got a piece of work in the archive collection that was done in 1998. But, so we, representing something from each decade.
The next 100 years, I don't know, I think it's difficult. The art colleges aren't teaching students how to draw and paint anymore. If you look at Coventry Art College or any other art college, I went to the Royal Academy, I was really disappointed at the way the students are being taught. They're not being given a foundation on how to draw or paint. It's nearly all conceptual art.
Part of having an open membership will be a desire to drive standards and to look for opportunities to bring in outside practitioners who can provide workshops and guidance and criticism to the existing members, and really that it will, by doing that, grow its name, grow its status, grow its reputation.
And I hope we're going to get new members, and that they're going to want to stay with us, work with us, and I just want to carry on trying to provide any support I can, which I think really is my role.
I think it'll progress. I hope it doesn't change its name. I hope it still remains Coventry and Warwickshire Society of Artists, because that's how it started.